Hi. Hi. Oh, my microphone. Maybe it hasn't been used in a while. Which side is this? I think it's on this side. Hi, everyone. It is me. I am alive. Not in the best of mental states. Mainly because my jaw and this tooth is causing me more distress each and every day, leading up to when I will finally get it fixed this weekend. Like, seriously. I don't know if like, I'm sure you guys have all had this experience before where someone says, don't touch it. Don't think about it. Don't do all of these things. And then you realize how difficult it is not do those things. And sometimes you have people around you that are just like, oh, it's easy. Just don't worry about it. And it's like, why would you say, anyway. Here I am, I'm back, and let's talk about what's been going on for the last week. So, last week on Wotv JP really hasn't been anything too terribly special because a lot of it's just been doing events, doing farms, while there's been triple, rates on everything. And also just a whole heck of a lot of, like, farming, like kind of just farming and kind of just seeing what's been going on. Like here, there hasn't been really too terribly much that I've done interesting because obviously it's hard for me to get into a mental state that's generally pretty good to do some of the more difficult things here. But a couple of things I have been doing with my account, and we're leading into the JP news, but been a while, so I got some stuff to talk about. Ferris. Oh my goodness. Ferris has been absolutely wonderful for me the last little while. And the big reason is because she's just been a bonus unit, and I've been waiting. I haven't had this experience in a while on JP of the great feeling of just having a really successful week in Arena for what feels like forever. And part of that's just been like the number of fire teams bouncing around and the fact that I've done a whole bunch of stuff with Preen, Astrius, and Ferris, which has been a great combo, and the amount of fire teams again in Arena has made my life incredibly easy to farm them and get really well. But yeah, I really am happy with how Ferris is performing. You'll also notice Bart's, I've shot him up to 140. Bart's in combination with Uni. If you don't know who Uni is, I will show you. She's this character right here. She, in combination with Bart's, is actually a really amazing anti-Bradley tech because it gets rid of guts through secondary hits. It eliminates a lot of CT shenanigans, and yeah, hits from a very long range. So Uni plus Bart's is something to look out for. In combination, Bart's is just pretty cool with a lot of different ranged units. So I decided to 140 Bart's because he looks really cool. I actually really like the design of Bart's as well. He is one of my favorite protagonists, especially from earlier Final Fantasies, because he got pretty cool design. He's got a pretty cool attitude. I generally like him in the era of so much seriousness. Bart's feels, a lot of times like a little bit Joker and got like some fun reactions to shit. So yeah, Bart's and Ferris, both pretty high on my standards. Not to say that Dark is bad on JP. Dark's still really good. Lots of fire teams floating around in Arena for various reasons. And yeah, the only other thing to really say is about Reagan, which will be coming out on Global, which I'll be talking about in a separate video because I want to talk about it more. And I decided to do a couple more characters up to 140 in terms of the UR rankings. Snow, who's just been one of the most dynamite characters for a very, very long time, been very reliable for me. So I felt absolutely that he was worth spending some resources on to get him up to 140. he's pretty good. We'll talk about Jaden's evaluation in a second here after a little while. Just to give a slight update on that too. I did Lightning just because she's one of my favorites in this entire game. I actually really love her character model, her kit. She's still one of my favorites. I think she got a pretty decent upgrade. I haven't seen many people upgrading her, so this might be more of my pity charity thing, but absolutely worth it because I just love her to death in this game. Possibly a little unhealthily, but yeah, just want to say great things about her. Let's switch over and talk about new Jaden, Ice Jaden, Jaden of the Spear and Ice variety. Interesting unit. I think that he will be quite successful into the future, being quite a great unit. And obviously there's some synergy here that we're going to talk about very, very quickly. The one thing I will say about Jaden is that he, as a unit, always seems to go last, which is still something that I am not really happy about in terms of his evaluation. I'm not even sure, but let me just pull up game 8. Because I know that Wotv Ultima is still saying that he's a 9.8 character, absolutely pretty much a must-get kind of thing. And taking a look on game 8, they very much disagree. I mean, PvP is still getting a double S, but there is a 9.6, not necessarily as high. And I kind of agree more with game 8, which is a differentiating opinion. I think that he is very, very good, especially if you can get him into the right position of being first to go in and deal with the hate discard. But something I've noticed is that a lot of times he falls behind the other two characters, and then he's just not dispelling hate. So yeah, that's kind of interesting to see exactly how his AI has worked. But hey, you know what? It's a new week, and a new week finally means some news. So let's take a look at what we got. First off, the wave battle system is coming back with the katana and fist. I'm very excited for these because both Preen and Astrius might benefit from this greatly, which means that they can go even better with Ferris. And I think I've said how happy I am with that combination. So yeah, great news there. Selection quest for these two dinguses. I know people out there like Gargus and Camillo, but it's my video. I'm allowed to call them dinguses, especially the dingus in the hood. These two dinguses are getting their shared sphere. Not too terribly much to say. I'm still not big on this selection quest thing, but next week we'll see what the upgraded characters look like and whether they're even worth the investment. Or this week, I should say. Oh my god, it's this week. Oh, Glassy gets her 140 this week. That's going to be interesting. And last but not least is this. And this brings us around to kind of talking about something that I've been talking about, the water teams and the ice teams lately, with the new Dark Shiva card. Now, the Dark Shiva card is looking to be interesting. And I say interesting because obviously it's a 90 cost VC Esper. It means it's a dual elemental one, and this is the second one that water and ice is getting, which curious about how that's going to particularly work with there. And we have a new Esper too, and undoubtedly she's going to be a very strong magical Esper and probably a magical ice Esper if I had to guess, but we'll see if, like Dark Bahamut, this is going to be a character who is just generally good as a mage Esper, maybe, with a lot of human killer on it. So keep an eye out for that. But here, taking a look at this. This VC, when equipped to the main, so as the main character will get magic power up and range attack resistance up. Both things pretty nice. We're happy about this for multiple reasons. As for the party ability, agility up, critical avoidance up, and limited to ice and water units for granting the maxing out this VC, magic power up. This is a very, very interesting VC because It should be a 15% agility. It's not a job BC, so it's not going to get that extra agility boost on here. It's getting critical avoidance up, which does potentially keep you alive. But the general feel of this magic card is that it's a magic card, but it's a general magic card, which it depends. Again, stats and numbers always do count and are important. But you think about this, and this is much like Dark now, Ice and Water will be able to run dual elemental speed vision cards without needing the Ramza card or anything like that, which is pretty strong, which is very, very strong. This is strong with defensive characters like Celeste. It's strong with already strong water magic users such as Amnelis, and not to mention New Jaden, obviously, of course, and one that we need to bring up. But then we also just got to talk about the fact that you can now more effectively combine Varus or Velis with water units. You can make that just generally better and more successful and more powerful and faster and everything like that. And Velis can combine with 2 speed cards that are elemental based, where you can mix and match water and ice, is interesting because right now water feels like it's moving more towards physical and ice feels like it's moving more towards magical. But this is not necessarily the case, because here you have a pretty flexible VC, because it's a speed VC where you can throw this on either, like a magical unit, but you can still have some physical units, and it basically everybody is benefiting on one of the great things in this. And you combine that with haste abilities and you're just incredibly roadrunnering potentially over other people's asses in combination. Looks like a really good VC to me, at least upon initial stuff, because speed is never to be underestimated, especially with still one of the best supports in the entire game. What the final team that looks like that's really going to push this VC to its limits in combination with great other ice and water VCs is going to be interesting. But I do like this enough to think that it's at least worth the discount pull, and maybe a few more depending on if you are really wanting to do the magic water and ice thing. Other people, it'll depend on the Esper and how strong Dark Shiva will be. Taking a look at it, deals ice attribute damage, greatly reduces attack magic power for 3 turns, activates a map effect. So it's not doing anything interesting extra like Chaos Bahamut, but could be, I don't know. Well, it is a debuff, so I'm curious to see how that will work with other units. Yeah, I like Dark Shiva. I think she'll be interesting, and for a water main and also an ice main like myself, I always keep a very close eye upon this stuff. So, this upcoming week is going to be pretty interesting. We got some upgrades that people have been long awaiting. I believe Engelbert and Flag Glassy. And we also have some new stuff, including a 90 cost Esper and a new VC that's going to be pushing some elemental characters. And then as we're getting, I think probably we'll see another live stream, possibly at the end of this month, to talk about the Bridal Alaya, who a lot of JP players are thinking that she's going to be a light-based unit. So curious. We'll have to wait and see. But you know what? I'm just going to say right now, I think she's going to be lightning. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. See you next time.